Hello everyone and welcome back to the NSB channel. In today's video I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the Interviewing Chefs series. If you guys want to go ahead and join this video series, all you guys want to do is go down below in the description and my Discord tag will be there. Message me, show me your success, tell me why you want to be on the show, and I'll go ahead and consider you to come onto the show and share your story. But let's jump straight into today's episode. It's going to be a good one. Head&Sneakers is on the show, so let's begin with a starter question to go ahead and lay the basis of this episode. How did your journey begin with hype clothing and shoes?
Yeah, so basically, back when the Yeezy breads originally released, I know they're coming up in December, but my friend was telling me about them. He was just kind of talking about grabbing them. He liked them, and I liked him. He was going to try to make like a quick buck off him. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to go for him too. So that was like the first release that I went for, and that's kind of how I got started into hype clothing or shoes or whatever it may be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the story is pretty similar to most people in the community. A friend goes ahead and refers them. I haven't heard of many people. I just find the community by themselves. It's always a friend that refers them into it, and then you actually go ahead and get deeper into the community. But when you were going for these releases, was it purely because of how they looked, or did you see the market there to go and sell them, and that's why you were going for them?
At first, and this kind of applies to everything I've kind of gone for in the past, but it's always been about the money first, and then some of these shoes and everything and the clothing and everything, it just starts to grow on you, and it goes from there as far as like starting your own collection or selling something.
Yeah, definitely. I can resonate with that. A lot of the releases that I've gone for in the past, and I feel like a lot of the viewers could agree with this, they're not exactly the best looking shoes. However, if the market's there and people are willing to pay X amount above the retail price, then obviously there is money to be made. But going back to the beginning of your journey, can you remember some of the first releases that you actually went for?
Yeah, so it was the Yeezy breads, and then I think shortly after the breads, like the striped pack dropped, like the Belugas, the Oreo, and those pairs. And yeah, I didn't get into too many like other sneakers besides like Yeezys and stuff a little later down the road.
Yeah, that sounds great. And one thing I did want to talk about, the time period you're talking about where the triple pack came out and the breads came out, the profit margins for Yeezys were significantly higher than what they are now. Like when you sell Yeezys now, you're typically making a low amount. That's why people go for hundreds of pairs. But back then you can hit one pair and maybe make $1,000 profit. In your opinion, how has the whole landscape changed, and what are your opinions on Yeezys these days?
Yeah, it's changed a lot as far as a resale standpoint. There's just so many more bots on the market now, and I think they're a lot easier to get, and a lot more people selling them. So the demand has, I guess, not met the supply, of course, yet, because they're still flipping for a profit. But yeah, it's definitely different now.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. There's a lot more stock. Obviously, there's that infamous statement that Kanye said that he wants Yeezys for everyone. For us, the resellers, that isn't a good thing because, more stock in the market, the resale price is going to go down. That's why people are going for loads more pairs. But like you said, it is easy to get Yeezys now, so it could balance out. It just depends on how many pairs you hit and what your initial costs are. But something that I did want to move into, so obviously we've talked about your manual releases, but what was the first thing that kind of introduced you to the idea of botting and the botting community?
First I got into like a group. Well, really there was another bot that I bought. This is probably like the most well-known, non-working bot. Let's just say that. So I ended up buying that at first, and then I kind of found like the groups and everything. So that's kind of how I got into botting and everything, just like Twitter with like, there's so many like release Twitters where you can get a lot of information from. So that's kind of how it started, just getting on Twitter and kind of just doing a little homework.
Yeah, that process is one thing that I don't even remember fondly. I don't think many people do. It's because everything kind of merges together. You follow a few pages and then you notice some repeatable people in the community. You figure out which bots are good. You learn about the resale market. Like me personally, I didn't even know that bots were always out of stock. I didn't understand the aftermarket about it, but it's definitely a very interesting learning curve that is unique to every single person's story, and that's why I wanted to go ahead and bring it up. But like you said, you went with a bot that is pretty well known. It doesn't work very well. We're not going to name any names here. However, from that point, what was that journey like to then finding NSB and purchasing your first ever copy?
Yeah, so the group that I was in originally, and kind of I stuck with them for a while, and eventually became a mod there. But yeah, they were giving out beta copies of NSB, so I was able to get a beta copy, and um, it kind of went from there. You know, I don't think I touched the bot for probably like 2 weeks when I got it. Um, but yeah, it's just after that, it was just kind of up and up and up. You know, you just start getting used to the bot, and there's so many. Cypher was always pushing like updates on it and everything, and he still always pushes updates. So it's just a lot of a big learning curve to get started.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that do get beta copies of bots just grab them and don't really touch them. I've personally done it in the past when my collection was a lot larger, and a lot of users that are watching this at home definitely can resonate with that. But it's interesting to hear about the beta phase for NSB, because I feel like a lot of people just know the bot to be a high retail that's constantly in stock, part of a market circle within the botting community that is pretty small. Like there isn't a lot of big successful bots that is constantly in stock that people can actually buy and cook with, in my opinion anyway. That's why I decided to go ahead and side with NSB when I go ahead and create these videos. But it's nice to know that you were there from the very early start. I know there's a lot of people in that Discord that wouldn't even know about the beta phase, so it's nice to see that you've grown up with NSB in a way. But since owning NSB and going from the beginning to the point you are right now, is there any drops that are memorable because of how successful you were with NSB?
Yeah, there's been a lot of good drops, especially when not many people had, you know, blue tasks where like the monitor would pick up and start the task for you. You know, when not many people were using that, I mean, you could hit a lot of pairs. So just like some I remember were the Blazers, the off-white Blazers, like I think it was the Hollow Eves pack. I know pretty much everybody that had NSP at that point hit a ton of pairs. Um, and also the React 87s, when those were actually a good flip. I hit a bunch of pairs on those at one point, and that was some really good money to be made.
Yeah, the blue task is definitely a feature within NSB that I personally like a lot, and I know a lot of people that pick up NSB when they begin to learn NSB and we explain the concept of blue task. It's very nice because not a lot of bots in the community have that functionality paired with the monitors integrated into NSB. So obviously it's a very unique thing to NSB, and it's a nice thing to have when you're going for all these releases. But you spoke about profits when it came to all these shoes, and that is something that I did want to dive into. How has all the profits that you've retained over your whole reselling career affected your personal life?
It's great. I mean, you know, just being able to kind of have like money on the side to invest in this hobby, if you may call it. Um, it's nice, and I mean, just you know, these luxuries. I mean, shoes aren't cheap, you know, and clothes and everything, especially not the drops that we're going for. So it's nice to just kind of have that extra income, and then if something comes up, I mean, just you know, use that money or something.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people in the reselling community, their lives completely changed. Like you've got people that have like a literally inventory stocked up to $1 million. Like obviously that is a very small group of people, but you have loads of people spending 20, 30, 40, $50,000 on releases to go ahead and make a significant markup when they go ahead and sell these shoes. So it affects their life pretty big. I feel like everyone in the community who spent time on perfecting their setups and cooking have obviously impacted their personal life in a positive way. But one thing I did want to talk about is your group Flipsique, and obviously starting a group within this community is a very brave choice because you know the market is very saturated. You gotta make sure you market it right and bring in all the users to cover costs. But creating Flipsique, was there a direct correlation with how much profits you were making at the time? How was that entire journey like?
Yeah, so I kind of started Flipseek just because, you know, I felt like a lot of people were getting into shoes and everything, and a lot of people were getting into clothing. Um, and I just kind of wanted to do something different. And there was other groups out there at the time. Um, but it never kind of lived up to my standards of how it should be run, or um, just not very consistent. Like there wasn't very much to go for. So that's kind of why I started the group. And it kind of started out as just like a deals and kind of like Brickseek almost group, and I did start out a beta. But yeah, it was just it kind of started from there and just grew into flips and all this other stuff. But yeah, it's I mean we don't really talk about any sneakers or clothing there unless no other group is talking about it. You know what I mean?
Definitely, so it's a very close space with your members. There's obviously a relationship there, and that's one thing I did want to tap into. Do you find joy from your members using your information and cooking these releases? Because it's one thing to sit alone behind your computer and use these bots and proxies and servers and get success. But let's say you struck out on a job. Is there somewhat of enjoyment having your members use your information and go ahead and cook these releases like yourself?
Yeah, man, that's what I enjoy about it most. I mean, I have so many just great members that I can just talk to, and I mean, just shoot the shit with them pretty much all day. And yeah, I mean, they're just great guys, and so are my mods. And yeah, it's just a really great community outside of sneakers and clothing. I mean, it's just people helping people. And I mean, even the members sometimes are, I mean, they have great flips as well. I mean, there's just a lot of knowledge out there to gain from people. So I mean, yeah, I'm still learning every day from them. So
Definitely, I'm very happy to hear it. Obviously, creating a mini community inside a huge community is a nice thing. I've done that a few times with groups I've owned and worked with, and it's a nice thing to have a close space just to talk with all your friends and go for the same objectives, and overall just make loads of money between all of you. But one thing that I want to go ahead and round back to for this episode, with NSB, you've used it for a very long time. You came from the beta period and you've been using it ever since. What are some things you'd like to see NSB add in the future?
just probably some more unique sites. That's I guess that's kind of geared towards my group, of course, but yeah, just like more unique sites, like things people really aren't doing. I think that would benefit the bot as a whole and all of the users.
Definitely, a unique site is a good idea. I mean, obviously, all the team go and watch these episodes. I'm pretty sure they'll take that feedback on board. But if you have a unique site that people want to support and it's not supported by a lot of bots, you're going to be at an advantage compared to manual users and regular users that are just using the website. So that is definitely a good suggestion. And finally, to go ahead and round up today's episode, would you recommend NSB to someone else who has yet to try out yet?
I would. It's probably the only bot I would recommend. I mean, it's the only readily available bot that you can go buy that just consistently cooks. I mean, every drop, and it's a great starting point. I mean, it's a great community, and we have a lot of knowledgeable info in there to learn, and a lot of good members and mods and everybody who can help you out.
100%, the NSB Discord has a lot of support there. I feel like, personally, I know this is kind of biased because I work with them, but when it comes to the product being readily available, it isn't favouring a certain type of bot. You can be a complete newcomer, you can go to our YouTube channel, watch the guides, you can read the guides and start to go ahead and secure pairs on this release. Obviously, with experience, you're going to gain more knowledge and that's how your success is going to scale. But in time, it goes ahead and grows, and I feel like NSB is a very good starting point for that. So that goes ahead and rounds up today's episode. If you guys enjoyed, please drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, turn on post notifications, and do me a favor, Head&Sneakers, all his sources will be down below. Flipsique will be down below for you guys to check out as well. Once again, if you guys want to join the series, all you guys want to do is go ahead and check out my Discord tag. It will be down below. Go ahead and message me success and tell me why you want to come on the series, and I'll go ahead and process your requests. I'm going to catch you guys next time. Peace out.